I'm Amy Jo Kim, creator of the Game Thinking System for smarter, faster innovation. I sat down recently with my student, Joanne, to talk about how she used game thinking to kickstart her project. Here's her story.
And blink. So I have my own advertising company, so I'm the CEO of that. I focus on traditional media, and then I'm working on this project that I'm building with you, this platform to support women going through divorce and custody battles. And I've set up, I'll be the CEO of that corporation, and so we're working on getting up and running on prototypes. So my educational background is I have an undergraduate degree from UC San Diego in bioengineering, double minor in econ and opera. I have an MBA finance from Pepperdine, and I have a law degree from UC Hastings College of the Law, and I'm admitted to practice in New York and California as a lawyer. So when I first met you, this had just been ideas and, my own personal experiences of what I needed and how could I help people and bring something useful to market. Part of the passion I have for this project is my own personal experience, because I've gone through some really lengthy custody battles of we're going on 6 years now. So I've used skills as a lawyer in all these different areas to kind of work on briefs and do all kinds of different things. But in the process, I sort of felt like I identified a market need that I had that was missing in the marketplace to really help other women. I think that the law itself is sort of a dinosaur industry. It moves very slow. It hasn't changed much in hundreds of years. The evolution that goes on is slow. And kind of the game thinking and game theory model that you have is about forward thinking and innovation. And that's something really missing from that industry. I had sort of done a little bit of research on Agile and some different, app development. I started to learn how to do Xcode and program and stuff like that. So I'd have people say, okay, this is how you do the app, and this is how your website backs it up, and these are your steps. But I kind of learned in your class that to take all of those ideas about what a product should look like and throw them out, and then go to the core users to really find out what they wanted first. Because what is the point of having a product that people don't really want and doesn't really serve what they want? So it's game thinking gives you the ability to actually find what the real sweet spot is for whatever your core users want, and then use these same techniques to play test your product so that when you finally get to the real product stage where you're rolling it out to the market, it's going to be a success and the marketplace is going to react well. I really believe that engineering at UCSD taught me to have critical thinking. It also taught me to have expansive thinking about the universe and what's possible. So I have my own preconceived ideas about this project. And so what I realized in using the game thinking tools is that you sort of approach it from the scientific method. Who, what, where, when, why. And you are open to the answers as opposed to having a personal bias. And I think that's something that we do in science when we're trying to test theories, but it's not always, removing the personal bias isn't as forefront as it is with game thinking. That's sort of what I saw and found out. So I used members to take notes, which I also felt like that's part of the interview process that you recommend as sort of balancing and keeping it unbiased. But I also felt like with the playtesters that I was working with and the hot core users, that legitimized the process to them, because working with a team is a little bit different than working one-on-one. So the first step was do the survey. So we made the survey questions, and then we refined them in class, and we had conversations about them, and we kind of niched them down. And then we put that survey out there and got the responses. So I was interested in seeing who responded and where did they respond from. Very interesting. Because I figured when we put these surveys out there, I made an assumption in my head, again, my assumption, that this is a totally domestic product. Legal cases in the US, but that turns out not to be the case either, because one of my playtesters was from the US Virgin Islands, which is a US territory, but that had never dawned on me. And one of them was from Canada. So I started to see that the range of the product was much bigger than what I anticipated. And then the next step was interview these people. So initially I thought it was going to be women who wanted to do all these divorce and custody things themselves. So they were going to need forms and all this other stuff.
DIY.
Yes. That turned out not to be the case at all, surprisingly to me. It was mainly women who actually had lawyers. Because what surfaced as a pattern was they didn't understand everything about how to hire their lawyer, retain their lawyer, communicate with their lawyer, negotiate fees, and that they could get real value by doing some of the work and shoring themselves up on the information so that they could use their lawyer more effectively and have a lower legal bill as a result. In this class, I identified 5 different MVPs. So we kind of like thought, okay, what would be the easiest? And sort of the game thinking model is, hey, let's just hack this together and see what we can come up with and put pieces together. And some of the videos you had on there were really helpful to me. And it changed the way that I really thought about product development, because I realized, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it could go through these iterations and it's going to evolve anyway. And so I could kind of get some pieces together to see which things would work the best and be the easiest to roll out first. So of 5 MVPs, there were probably 2 that stood out as the primary initial ones. So one was like a cost calculator for cases, kind of like a mortgage calculator, so that you could put in the parameters for your case and get an idea, how much is this going to really cost me? Because I really believe people have no idea. The other one is the content-based MVP. But instead of being like forms and do it yourself, you know, writing everything yourself, it turned out to be more like, oh, can you help me understand what to wear to court? Can you help me understand how to prepare and what to say and how to be at either trial or a deposition? Can you send me real-time reminders? Is there a way I can get that content so that I don't have to ask my lawyer every single question at $300 an hour? What can we do to shore these people up so that they're actually a better client for their lawyer? If he doesn't have to sit down and tell them, wear this sheet, wear this dress, fold your hands, don't fold your hands, whatever it is, that's going to help them be a better client for the lawyer and vice versa. And we looked at examples like Duolingo and different kinds of models to say, okay, how could this work? And what does it really look like? And what's useful? Then the next step was developing the rough prototype. So I was able to kind of let go of, it has to look polished, it has to look neat, it has to be perfect, and be able to create something to get the feedback that I needed so that I could keep moving forward. Because I think that people who are drivers and successful, they tend to want things to look perfect. And so that's something that you do, that you do really well, is kind of let that take a back seat. And so it was okay for my prototypes to not be perfect and not be completely refined. I see this practice area, and in the law, it's not considered the highest level practice area. I was really a corporate lawyer, white shoe corporate lawyer, and all these fancy things. But the truth is, we have people out there that are like suffering through it, kids out there that are suffering. It's not easy. And when we look at where the law is going, the tender years doctrine, or what used to be like the mother's the best primary caregiver, is kind of changing. We see cases like Madonna International fighting and, all this stuff going on. We don't realize how far down in our whole society that it's impacting everybody. So I really feel I have a passion for women. As women, we need to support and lead each other. And I think that this project will really help women to just not in any way against men, but just because women think and operate a little bit different. I think this will be really helpful for them going forward and going through this process so that they can come out empowered and resilient. That's really where I want it to be. But for game thinking, I would not be where I am today in this project. I used every single aspect of it, and it's not just 10x to market, it's like 100x to market, because it just shortened my entire process and it put me in a place that I wouldn't be in for years. And I'm 100% convinced of that, and it's only been 4 or 5 months total. So it's absolutely a core strategy to developing your product, and I 100% believe in it. I think Amy Jo is a fearless leader, and I will always be grateful for having met her at the juncture that I did.
Want results like this for your project or your client's projects? Hop on over to gamethinking.io/programs to learn how you can work with us. We can help you get to product market fit in record time and build products that keep your customers coming back again and again. The link is in the description.